Hey, hi, what's up everybody? I'm going to show you a feature of a program called Lucas Chess that is called Determine Your Calculating Power. And what it does is it gives you a random position, such as this one here, and it gives you a set amount of time to look at the problem, and then a maximum amount of time to look at the problem. And you must take at least the minimum and no more than the maximum. So I have it set to some pretty absurd time limits here. I set it for 5 minutes minimum to look at the problem, and then a maximum of, I don't know, I think I set it for 15, I'm not really sure. But all you do is just go over the position, and at the end of it, I will have to input my moves over on the side. Actually, it's slightly out of view. It shouldn't be too big a problem. What happens if I drag it? Does it drag the whole thing? Yeah, it'll be just over to the side. So I'll probably slide over when it's time and let you see me inputting the moves. But what I will do is analyze the position, come up with basically what's the main variation, the principal variation in the game, and then it will analyze each of the moves I put in. Now when I put the moves in, I don't move the pieces at all. I can't ever move these pieces, in fact. So I'll just click on the start square and the destination square, and it'll input the move. And then Houdini is set to analyze each of the moves at, I don't remember if I put 10 seconds, but something like that, 10 seconds each, and then it will give me a score. The first move of the principal variation is the most important. If I fail at that, then my score will be extremely low, no matter how well I calculate the rest of the variation. So I have to take a lot of time and make sure my first move is absolutely correct. So let's take stock of the position we have here. Black has 6 pawns, and it looks like white also has 6 pawns. We have 2 minors apiece and a rook. And the minor piece battle here, white has a bishop, while black has 2 knights. So, we see that our rooks are kind of with some tension here. It's black's move. So, black can just take the rook for free, it looks like. Is there a tactic that would save that? Or is there another piece hanging? Oh, okay. Black is in check, so looks like maybe what we got here is an exposed attack on this rook. So in other words, probably what happened is white played knight from d4 to f5. Could also be d6, but probably the knight has moved off the d file and given check. So what's going to happen here is black is either going to capture the knight with the g-pawn, so we'll start off with g takes f5, and then white rook will take on d8, and that'll be a pretty simple variation. But I want to just take a second and think about maybe king f6. King f6, rook takes rook, and then king takes f5. Possibly that is something that black could do, saving the pawn structure here. Let's go ahead and think of the other variation first. G takes f5, rook takes rook, and then how does black follow up? Black's knights are over here on the side not doing anything. There's a check, or not a check, but an attack on the rook with knight e6. And not much follow-up on that. Simply just moving the rook away would be fine. So maybe there'll have to be something more productive. So looking around for any tactics. Forking pawns. We've got 2 unprotected pawns here where there's no way to fork them. We have about 50 seconds remaining before I'm going to be able to input a principal variation, but I still have 10 minutes after that, so I'm not in any big hurry to come up with my final answer, although I do want to kind of move quickly for the video. Alright, so what I want to know is if white can save the knight if black plays king f6 here. By the looks of things, the rook is dead anyway, so king f6, and if the knight moves away, to something like h6, I don't see that doing any good because it wouldn't be check. White can't check black if the king is on f6, so there isn't a way to save the knight. Okay, the time is over for the looking phase, so now I can enter the moves anytime I want. So I slide this over here, you can see next moves, and then it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 half moves I can enter. And I'll do that at some point. But it says down here I had 10 minutes left in which I can use to calculate. So I'm thinking king f6, rook takes rook, king takes f5, keeping my pawn structure intact. And now white could maybe get the rook in, or the bishop in with bishop h3. You want to do that? Bishop h3, and then maybe just step back. I almost feel like I'm thinking crazy thoughts with this king f6. It seems to work though. It seems to be black's best option. Keeping this pawn structure at least somewhat healthy. So bishop h3, just, I mean, is that a better diagonal than this one? Yes, I suppose it is. So at that point we want to start getting the king in the game. So yeah, I think it's probably good. Bishop h3, and the king moves probably back to f6. And then we can go king g2, starting to get the king in through the light squares here. So let's go. Full variation so far is going to be king f6, rook takes rook, king takes f5, bishop h3, and I don't think there's anything better than just king f6, followed by king g2, and what if instead of king f6, what if we play king e5? Are we just allowing tempo moves like f4? And where's that rook in all of this? Can the rook do anything active? So let's look at this. Look at the line. King, rook, king, bishop, and king e5, f4, king e4, rook e8. And now we can't penetrate here because the king would be blocking. The rook will have abandoned the d file, so we could penetrate here. Obviously we can't go to d4 because of the pawn, so maybe king d3 here would allow black's king access to c4. And then from there I'm not sure. I'm not sure that white's rook will want to leave the d file once we play bishop h3 and then king somewhere, one of these two squares, f6 or e5. Alright, so I need to just pick one, and I'm going to pick c5 just to keep it centralized, and then f4, and then I'm not sure f4, because if we can't leave that, then we don't want the king to go to e4, and then there's no easy way to protect. Actually, that's not true. We can just slide the king over. So let's go king e4, king f2. And now the rook is still cutting off the d file, so the king has no further place to go. Right, I'm going to, just for the purpose of this video, I'm going to stop and go ahead and enter the moves. What I'm going to do is click on the board, and you'll see the moves being filled in over here, but you won't see all. I've cut off one file of the chessboard. Okay, so I'm going to start with king to f6, and you can see the moves filled in here. Rook takes rook, king takes knight, bishop h3, king e5, f4, king e4. Did I ever play the king to g2? I did not. I skipped that move somehow. So I'm going to go back and fix that. I have plenty of time, so what I'm going to do is just... I'm not even sure. That was taking the rook, that was taking the knight, that was taking the bishop. This is moving the king. f2 to f4. Doesn't need to come yet, does it? Yeah, I never moved the king in that line, so I got confused here. f2, f4. Let's think about f2, f4. f2, f4. King to here. So let's do that. King to here. This king to here should do the trick. And black here might play something like trying to get the knight in. So I'm starting to lose. Is that knight going to be able to do anything from here? That's a little hole, and the king is... oh, the king is there. Yeah, the king's on e4, so the knight coming here doesn't really help that. And there's nowhere else for it to go. So I'm just going to go ahead and stop it here and call that a quiet position that we would need to analyze later. So I guess I got 8 ply, and we'll see how it scores me. Alright, it says analyzing the move just off the screen, and it's analyzing this move. Oh, I just slide it over a little bit. It gave me 100 out of 100. So I was not crazy. Another 100 out of 100. I've got 2 of the best moves so far. 3 best moves in a row. Not the best move, g2 to h3. That was the bishop move, okay? Again, not the best move. So you can see that my vision is going down as I get deeper and deeper. Pretty decent with f2, f4. e5 to e4, so I picked a bad king move there. And that was decent. So my score is the highest score I've had so far, 32-25. Probably due to my 3 good moves starting off right in a row. Alright, so that's a sample of what determine your calculating power is like. I'll hit quit, and we'll go back and see. Last one I screwed up royally, but that was just a little while ago, and it was kind of a test I wasn't taking too seriously. But you can see that today, my maximum score, or my score today is the best one I've had so far. Had one a little while back that was almost 2,000 points, but this really crushed it. Alright, so I think that's pretty fun. I think it's pretty useful, and I think probably more people should know about this Lucas Chess program for things like this. It has lots of little kind of training modules like this to help you out, and it's a lot of fun. Alright, thanks for watching.